I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't get any sleep. I tried to stay awake all night, but there were definite gaps in my memory. I guess I'd get nodded off and jerking awake in a panic all night. I spent all night hugging the metal bat and sat on the top of the futon I used to barricade my door. Waiting, watching, just in case someone tried to break in through my window. If I left this spot, someone would break through the door, send the futon flying and attack me. But if I stopped watching the window, someone would break through the glass and attack me. I tried telling myself I was just being paranoid, but I couldn't sleep. The thought of being so vulnerable scared the living daylights out of me. If sleep meant taking that risk, I didn't need it. It was so much better to just stay awake in abject fear, apparently. At some point during that endless cycle of nodding off and jolting awake, light began to shine outside, but that was it. It wasn't so much the morning as it was just the sun simply having risen. Not morning, that's not morning, that does not sound like morning at all. I snuck a peek out through the curtains. Rena was gone. I couldn't see her anywhere no matter how hard I looked. Finally I could breathe a deep sigh of relief. The night was finally over and a new day started. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired, but I didn't feel like sleeping at the moment. I still had time, but I needed to make my own breakfast, so I better get started soon. Skipping school was also an option. With my mum gone, it'd be easy to play hooky. Honestly, I debated it. The risk involved in leaving my house was incalculable. Though staying holed up in here was probably my safest option, until they eventually break through. But staying here wouldn't solve anything. Oshi-san wouldn't help me without cold hard evidence. Neither he nor my parents. So, unless I could find some sort of proof, these relentless nights would never end. I stretched my body, tilted my head back, and closed my eyes just like I did every morning. Doing his morning stretches, apparently. I regulated my breathing and regained my senses. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. Let's go to school. Let's wait until they set their trap for me. But that didn't mean I was going to twiddle my thumbs. I needed to avoid that trap and secure irrefutable evidence. Take note of the plates of any car that that drives by. If I see something suspicious, check their clothes and face. I wasn't just protecting myself, I was preparing myself to turn their attack against them and retaliate. The tension was similar to when two samurai were both aiming to slay each other in a single motion as they drew their katanas. I was not at a disadvantage. I would have a chance to retaliate. I finally felt a bit of courage growing in my chest. Alright, let's go to school. I tightened my grip on Satoshi's bat. He was the only partner I could count on. Satoshi, please lend me your strength. And to trust your dying regrets to me, since you were probably murdered. I'll make sure I'll dispel them. I like the fact he's assuming that Satoshi's dead. Mistakes. With renewed resolve, I checked the clock. It was still early. Nope, you're not going to tell us the time, okay. Of course I was going to school by myself today. If I didn't want to run into Rena or Mion, I needed to leave now. I wonder how long Rena stayed out there. She stayed out there for an awfully long time. Like through the rain, wasn't it? The shattered fragments of the cupboard were still strewn all over the entryway. Right. I meant to clean up that last night, but I never got round to it with the phone call and everything, and Rena at the door, well, at the lamppost across the street, and all the saying sorry and the paranoia, If my parents came back and saw this while I was at school, I would never hear the end of it. Still, I'd be wasting time if I cleaned it up right now, and considering what would happen if I ran into Rena or Mion, it wouldn't be too late to clean it up after I got back home. Making extra certain that the doors were locked, I left the house. And I forgot to lock the front door, is what he's gonna do. My uniform was still covered in mud from yesterday, so I left it in the washer. Today I was going to school in a tracksuit. By wearing a different outfit this morning, my mind was forced to accept that today was different from yesterday. I had a hunch. Today might be the day I get killed. Keep your guard up, Keiichi Maibara. The only one who gets to decide if today is my day, is my last day, is me. Is me. That's a nice thought, I think. Maybe. So we're going across the village, and we encountered no one on the way. We didn't get ran over this time this morning, so it's all good. I spent the morning practicing my swing like it was my natural routine. After a while, Renner arrived at school. Our eyes met, but we said nothing. Renner said nothing about last night, as if it never happened. But I could see that those events were real by the wounds carved into her fingers. I could just hear her telling Sakato and the others that the bandages were from her hurting herself in the kitchen. Though it wasn't like it bothered me. God, I had my finger trapped in the door once. It's not nice. Not nice. The details that Oji-chan shared about Renner's incident before her transfer played vividly in my mind yet again. It played another very vivid imagination. Now that I knew about it, I couldn't even dream of Renner as a cute, ideal girl. Hi, Mion. Kei-chan, I see you're still aiming for the nationals. It was Mion. I already sensed her approach, so I wasn't that surprised. Oh, Mion. If you understand then, leave me alone. I'm busy practicing. I gave her a curt reply without my usual jokes. Then I gave the bat an even larger swing, tactically keeping Mion from getting any closer. Hey Kei-chan, take it easy. I think Mion got the message, but she still urged me to give it a rest. Homeroom's not that far off, is it? Just let me finish practicing. I swung the bat even harder, the sign of my refusal. Kei-chan, when did you get into baseball? Just, recently, just a couple of days ago. Recently? You mean yesterday? Don't ask if you already know. Oh dear, that's a very unsportsmanlike reply. You're distracting me. Go away. I ignored Mion and kept swinging. So many swings, just swinging about with a reckless abandon. Normally she'd get mad or bored and leave if someone gave her the cold shoulder like this, but Mion just stood there, waiting patiently for me to stop swinging. I didn't sense any hostility, but we were at school, in plain view. I doubt she'd suddenly attack me here. Or was that too naive? Still, I was starting to get tired. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to take a break and hear her out. You need me for something, right? What is it? Sweat poured from me as I stopped swinging. I noticed my shoulders were heaving as I breathed. I cursed my lack of exercise. At this rate, I might not be able to move as needed when the time came. I should probably keep practicing my swings to build up stamina, in addition to the excuse for carrying the bat around with me. Well, it's nothing important. If you're tired, I can ask again later. Now's fine. I might be in completely ragged state, but it's perfectly fine. I'm only dealing with you right now because I judged the situation to be safe. Talking to you alone and away from the others? That's out of the question. Well, Mion was uncharacteristically trying to choose her words, but unlike Oshi-san, it didn't look like she was going to talk about something I'd rather not hear. Mion was puzzled, trying to find the right thing to say. But then she gave a hearty laugh to break herself out of that Mia. Ha 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 ha. This old man's just no good at this stuff. Having a poor vocabulary hurts. What's this all of a sudden? If you have something to say, just, say it. What's on your mind, Mion? Stop it. Stop that swinging. She cut straight to the point. Her request was so frank, I didn't understand it for a moment. I had already stopped swinging to listen to her, haven't I? I just stopped, just stopped, That's not what I meant. I want today to be the last day you swing that bat. I'm sorry. It took me some time to understand what she was asking for. What's wrong with swinging a bat? Why? It's none of your business, is it? I'm not bothering anyone, am I? You are. Mion said it flat out. It didn't make any sense, and that was really irritating. When did I bother anyone? Mion was at a loss for words. But she finally made up her mind and spoke. Though she stuttered as she said it, like I am. But because K-chan, that's someone else's bat. You shouldn't borrow it without permission. It was left by a student who transferred, right? I'm just borrowing it until he comes back for it. Yeah. Transferred. Yeah. Mion grew uncharacteristically flustered. Wow, we're saying that a lot today, aren't we? That made it all too clear that his transfer was a lie. But strange, isn't it? For the older brother to transfer by himself, while his little sister stayed behind. Mion couldn't hide her reaction as my words shook her up. K-chan, you knew? Satoshi Hojo, Sato's older brother, right? The one demoned away last year. Unable to respond to that, Mion fell silent. Well, yeah, that's kind of like out of the blue, isn't it? Saying, yeah, he got demoned away last year. I'm up to date with recent-ish events. Rena asked the same thing. Why did you start swinging that bat? She told me Satoshi did the same thing, practicing his swings, right before he went missing. So, is this some kind of omen for Oyashiro-sama's curse? Shh. Mion panicked and looked around. Please, K-chan, don't mention Oyashiro-sama so recklessly. I don't believe in him, but the others very much do. Rena especially. Dangerously so? Anyway, you're scaring everyone. Wow, that is an angry face for Mion, isn't it? We've angered Mion. If you're just fooling around, then stop it. You have to stop acting like Satoshi. I was the one who was scared. Who do I have to thank for taking up this bat in the first place? But it was still unsettling me knowing that my actions were overlapping with Satoshi's. It would be one thing if someone suggested, but I thought I was making my own decisions. I'll say this now. I don't know anything about Satoshi. After all, you didn't tell me anything about him. But we didn't mean to hide it. You were hiding the incidents that happened every year, weren't you? That's because we didn't want to, scare you away from the village. After only being here for like about a month, I believe, something like that. You didn't want to scare me? That's your reason for leaving me out? No, we didn't mean to. Mion, I asked you directly if something happened at the dam, didn't I? And you told me nothing happened. When someone was dismembered and murdered, you lied to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie to you. Friends don't hide things from each other, right? Isn't that right? Then you all aren't my friends. K-chan, Mion looked helpless and flustered. Also, if someone told me that, like, a few years ago at this location, a dismemberment happened or a murder happened, that would be kind of frightening. Just, you just want to stay away from that area afterwards. Was I imagining the tears in her eyes? I could never imagine Mion acting like this. Oh, by the way, Those get well mochis you brought the other day, they were so good, I thought I was going to bleed. Who did it? You? Or Rena? Me. He admitted it so easily. I couldn't help but be surprised at how easy that was. You could have killed me. How could you do that to a friend? But it was just a little prank. Mion gave a wry smile, picture of confusion, causing even more anger to well up inside me. Oh no, he's getting angry and he's holding a metal bat. This is not a good recipe, is it? You think that was a prank? I grabbed Mion by the collar and lifted her up. Oh yeah, this is not ending well for him, is it? That wasn't the same as putting Tabasco sauce in a piece of mochi. It was a needle, a sewing needle. If I had swallowed that and it lodged in my throat, what did you think would happen? Mion's face froze as her body rattled in fear. This wasn't the Mion Sonozaki I knew anymore. Anyways, you're not my friend. There's no reason for me to listen to someone who's not my friend. So, just leave me alone for a while. Got it? Mion wasn't replying anymore. It won't be that easy to erase me, you know. The cops have been onto you from the start. So don't think you can make me disappear like you did, Satoshi. I said it clearly. This was my declaration of war. I think you guys are suspects in the previous incidents too. I also know you spent a lot of time with the cops ever since the anti-dam movement. Don't think you can hide it from me. Got that? How did you know? Mion stood there with a dumbstruck look on her face. That was when I heard the principal ring the bell for school. It was time for morning homeroom. Let's go. The class representative needs to be there, right? At that moment, for the first time, I realised Mion was sobbing as tears ran down her cheeks. Down her face, cheeks. Okay. Yeah, you're so mean, Keiichi. No. Wow. Okay, you're so mean, Kei-chan. I wanted to console her, but I shut my mouth. I had no need to feel guilt. I'm going. Don't be late for homeroom. I left Mion, still shaken, as I turned around to head for the entrance. I had no idea how troubling it was to make a girl cry. Behind my back, I could hear her muttering. It was a faint mutter as she was speaking to herself. So, that's how it is. Huh? It wasn't saying it to anyone. It was just Mion talking to herself. But it was a sobbing voice that had a kind of giddy, cursing tone. I inadvertently stopped and turned back towards her. So it was that bastard. He linked it all to Kei-chan. She balled up her fists as her tears continued to rain down. She glared at a spot at the ground with a terrifying, yet smiling face, cursing. A chill ran down my spine from that demonic expression. This transformation, Mion's transformation, was different from Rena's. I should have killed him back then. He forgot the mercy I showed him just because he was going to retire this year. Retiring this year? Was she talking about Oshi-san? Damn it. Damn it. I'm going to kill that old man. Ah! I felt the air itself had begun distorting. With Mion at the centre, the world had begun to twist and spiral, bending, whirling. This was the first time I'd experienced such a visage. I was like, it would have been nice to have at least a CG of that, wouldn't it? Rise. Attention. Mion made up an excuse for her red eyes by saying there was something wrong with her contacts, despite no prior knowledge of her ever wearing contacts. After that, neither Rena nor Mion spoke to me for the rest of the day. Neither Sakuto nor Rika-chan looked me in the eye. Strangely, I didn't feel hurt. Everything had just went back to the way it was. The month since I transferred in had almost been too much fun. That was all. Yeah, those were some fun days, weren't they? School was supposed to be something like this to begin with. I should have disliked that feeling, but today, it felt oddly refreshing. And school ends. The bell rung, sounding the end of the monotonous school day, which had felt so tense, yet so dull. Since it would cause a lot of unpleasant memories if they asked me to join to the club activities, I promptly started preparing to go home, without even looking at them. I stuffed the contents on my desk into my bag, wrapped my hand around Satoshi's now familiar bat, and began heading towards the entrance.